An 18-year-old Florida cheerleader goes on a family cruise and never, ever comes home. Her body is found hidden under a bed, wrapped in a blanket, surrounded by life vests. And now, a shocking court filing reveals that a 16-year-old stepbrother is now a suspect in this suspicious death. So, what really happened on the Carnival horizon?
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning journalist, Joel Waldman.
What's up, STS Nation? Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. This is the global phenomenon, the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime. Except today, it's just me riding solo, bringing you some late breaking news about, you may have heard of it, this 18-year-old young woman who goes on a Carnival cruise line with her family and never returns home. We're breaking down the mysterious, heartbreaking, and deeply troubling death of 18-year-old Florida teenager Anna Kepner, Kepner. She died, as I said, aboard the Carnival Horizon. It happened just days ago. The FBI is investigating. The cruise line is scrambling, trying to do damage control. And now explosive new courtroom filings reveal that her own 16-year-old stepbrother is being eyed as a suspect in what is increasingly looking like a suspicious, possibly even a criminal death here. We're going to walk through this case from newest to oldest developments, what the latest court documents reveal that were docketed today, the disturbing circumstances of how Anna was found, the complicated family dynamics that we're learning were going on with this family, what investigators are looking at, and the major unanswered questions that remain. So starting off with the latest development, as I mentioned off the top, the stepbrother now officially a suspect. He is a minor at just 16 years of age. The newest revelations breaking within just the last bunch of hours, and they're pretty significant. According to a family court filing that was obtained by NBC News and the Daily Beast, the stepmother of the 16-year-old boy has been talking to investigators, and in the court filing, it reads, and I quote here, the criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children of this instant action. Obviously, some legalese there. Daily Beast goes even further, reporting that the unnamed minor is Anna's own 16-year-old stepbrother, and that he, as we mentioned, is being eyed as a suspect by the FBI. NBC News basically doubling down and reporting the same thing, saying that federal investigators are now evaluating this teen's role in his stepsister Anna's death aboard the Carnival Horizon. And this isn't just speculation now. As I said, this is coming straight from court filings that were documented today in the courtroom docket of all things. This is no longer a tragic mystery. It is now a criminal investigation with a minor who is under the microscope. So, how was 18-year-old Anna Kepner found? That's a part that is being reported on a lot because it is quite difficult to wrap your head around it. ABC News is reporting this. So, we've got some really large media outlets weighing in here. ABC News, citing law enforcement briefings, reveal that Anna was discovered, number one, under a bed on that cruise ship. Number two, wrapped in a blanket. Number three, partially covered by life vests, which makes you wonder what's going on there. Obviously, an effort at concealment. And it all was sort of laid out in a way, investigators are apparently saying, that was not in an accidental manner. Now, ABC News is actually quoting investigators saying that they are taking a look at whether there was some sort of altercation with the stepbrother before her death. NBC News quotes the legal filings from today, saying that the stepbrother's alleged connection is serious enough that the parents, his parents, are fighting over whether or not this 16-year-old should be allowed to stay in the home where he is being raised. So there's some internal family fighting going on. Do you boot the 16-year-old out because of this? Do you let him stay? But that shows just sort of the internal turmoil within the family. This scene now, wrapped, hidden, covered, is certainly not consistent with what an initial potential assessment was, which was a medical emergency. This was definitely not now, they're saying, a medical emergency or a fainting episode, or possibly even not an overdose, which someone, possibly would have reported. The OD, obviously, they're going to wait on the tox reports, but essentially, investigators are indicating that this is something more sinister and something that took a little more planning after her death. It does suggest an attempt to conceal, or at a minimum, some sort of extreme panic going on. Now, Carnival's public statement is not all that interesting, not all that detail oriented, and it doesn't really give a lot of insight as to what happened. Carnival is simply saying, and I quote here, "We are supporting the family and cooperating fully with the FBI." Is it me, or does it seem like there's always crazy things going on cruise ships? I am not a cruiser. I never will be, for precisely this reason. I'm sure the vast majority of cruises are safe and fine. But if it isn't some sort of stomach virus, norovirus going on, it seems to be someone getting tossed over the deck. In this case, being hidden by blankets and life jackets. I will take my vacations on land, although people are diehard cruisers. But you got to think, if you're working in the PR department for Carnival Cruise Lines, which, by the way, is based right here in Miami, Florida, you've got a very busy and difficult job trying to attempt to clean up all the damage and doing that damage control. The discovery, the location, and the condition of Anna Kepner's body said to be absolutely chilling. Now, you might be wondering why the FBI. The incident happened in international waters, so jurisdiction goes straight to the Federal Bureau of Investigation out of Miami, the Miami office. And the AP confirms the FBI is now, in fact, leading the investigation, saying, and I quote here, the FBI confirmed it is investigating the death of a passenger aboard the Carnival Horizon. As always, investigators staying very tight-lipped, revealing next to no details except for the court filing that we saw today, where some details were made somewhat clear, at least a little bit clearer. Federal agents, and there was a lot of video of this, by the way, on local news here in Miami when it happened. You could see them cordoning off the ship as a crime scene, boarding the cruise ship with evidence bags, the latex gloves on, their FBI jackets donned, and you could tell that they were taking it really seriously. Here's likely what they would have immediately seized when they did that initially. Number one, the cabin key cards. They're all electronic key cards that you either swipe or put up against that magnetic door lock. So that will contain a lot of digital forensics. Of course, surveillance footage, basically from every hallway on the ship, to try to piece together some sort of timeline. Guest movement data. There's other ways to surveil guests, I'm sure, on these cruise ships. You can bet that every single corner of this cruise ship has cameras on it, communications records, including cell phones and things of that nature. Bar and food, all the receipts from that could also help piece together a timeline. The electronic devices, not only the cell phones, but the laptops, the iPads, etc., from everyone involved. And the family's cabin, which remains, as I understand, sealed as a crime scene. They are focusing, which makes a lot of sense, on the stepbrothers' interactions and movements in the hours before Anna was found. Now, the Miami-Dade medical examiner has not released the cause or manner of death. There's a publication called Florida Today here in the great state of Florida. citing a quote saying the medical examiner has not yet disclosed how or why the teen died. It is significant. If this were a clear medical emergency or an overdose, toxicology would obviously be the clear path. I'm sure they're running tox tests on 18-year-old Anna Kepner. The cause of death would be stated tentatively, at least, and we don't have that. And the FBI would not be treating the minor as a suspect if this was some sort of medical emergency or an OD. But the exact opposite is happening. The silence, therefore, suggesting that they are investigating possible homicidal violence, including and not excluding asphyxiation, blunt force trauma, strangulation, positional asphyxia, where you can choke literally from the position of your neck and throat, and or smothering, or even possibly something involving concealment or staging. We just covered the indie rock singer David, and there are some eerily similar things with concealment of a body, of a corpse. And of course, there it is the LAPD robbery homicide division working on it. Here it is the FBI, because this all happened apparently out in international waters. Now, the family dynamics are also coming into focus here, and the background appears to illustrate a bit of a powder keg involving this family. And this is where it gets a little bit darker. Now, multiple media outlets, including the Globe, the New York Post, the Daily Beast, are reporting that the family was currently, when they were on this cruise, was embroiled in a messy custody battle. There were allegations, and I want to stress allegations, of abuse involving the father in this family, accusations going back and forth between the ex-spouses, court motions about living arrangements, and concerns prior to this over the stepbrother who's in question about his behavior. So it seems like this was a very messy family dynamic. We're used to the Instagram and Facebook, and Twitter's not a good example because that is so toxic, but you're used to Instagram, right, where everything is perfect. This family appears to be a loving family on a cruise, but apparently the stepmother had raised alarms about this teen's mental health, and his ID has not been released. He's 16 years of age, and I'm sure that is why. But the stepmother raised some red flags about his mental health and his living situation. Now, you layer into that the complexity of being on a cruise vacation, these confined cabins, limited supervision. You're basically a free range teen when you're on a cruise ship. I mean, obviously you've got the borders of the guardrails, but you can roam freely throughout the cruise ship. Other teens in close proximity, and then you've got this family tension apparently simmering beneath the surface here, and that, of course, is a recipe for something known as volatility. Now, Florida today confirms that the family boarded the Carnival Horizon, which was a ship. So they were all there carrying nearly 4,000 passengers. They were going to a bunch of different Caribbean islands. People magazine painting a picture, a better one, of Anna Kepner, 18 years old. She was a varsity cheerleader, a straight A student, and had dreams apparently of going into the military. She had just taken her entrance. We don't know what branch of the military, but her family is quoted as saying, excuse me, if you were sad, she'd make you laugh. And that's exactly who they lost. And it sounded like they needed a lot of laughter on this trip. Imagine being 18 years old and you go on a cruise ship and you never come home, and now they're pointing the finger at your very own stepbrother. Now, at some point during the cruise, they're saying likely the night before docking, it was then that Anna's family realized she was missing. So I'm not clear myself how much time had elapsed, but it was toward the very end of the cruise where they say, hey, wait a minute. Where is she? Where is Anna? What's consistent, of course, is the way she was found. Again, she was in the cabin, presumably her cabin, underneath the bed, wrapped and partially covered, not just in plain sight. Like you had to look under and actually look, and then that's how they found her. Now, Carnival did the right thing in that they called authorities right away. The ship continued to Port Miami, where the FBI boarded. Passengers, and I saw this myself here, as I said on the local news, described a heavy presence of law enforcement at the port, obviously seizing all the things that we're talking about. Now, what could be extremely important here, of course, is the CCTV footage, the surveillance footage around the cruise ship. They can look at who entered and exited the cabin. There are apparently, again, cameras in every hallway lining this cruise ship. They can also look at when the stepbrother came and went, if in fact there was an argument, if Anna left on her own or was carried out of a room, and essentially put together a timeline of movements. Those access logs to get into keys to get into the cabins, those key cards simply don't lie. That's some of the strongest digital forensic evidence. So they're looking for that. They're also certainly going to be looking for transfer evidence, DNA mixtures, signs of dragging or moving, pressure marks on the body. And this will also be looked at during the autopsy, which I'm sure was done already. Blood, fibers, body fluid. They're going to take a close look and process the blanket and those life vests that were surrounding her body. Now, this part is obviously pretty big. The covering here, investigators say, could indicate panic staging. It could indicate this attempt to hide or conceal, an attempt to quote unquote protect, or an unintentional placement after a struggle. Maybe they panicked, didn't have time, and just put Anna underneath the bed. So obviously they're also speaking to family members, and that's going to be critical. It basically means one of three possibilities. Number one, we're talking about deliberate concealment, which is placing this body under the bed, wrapping it on purpose, covering it with life vest. Number two, as I said, this panic after potentially accidental harm. Teen suspects, especially, a lot of times they will panic, they hide, they freeze up, they don't call for help. Or number three, which a tox report will help to uncover, is the possibility of an overdose. And now, why are they zeroing in on the stepbrother here? NBC News simply quoting investigators here saying that the teen step sibling is being eyed by the FBI in connection with the death. From the Daily Beast, and I quote here, a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children. And from the New York Post, direct quote, the slain teenage cruise passenger stepbrother, 16, is the suspect. Now, he was on the cruise. He was apparently sharing some space with his stepsister. You've got this history of family turmoil. He was apparently present before she was found. And now, of course, he is being mentioned in legal filings. So a lot to chew on here. And now we are left with the mega question. What really happened to 18-year-old Anna Kepner on the Carnival Horizon? Was it a tragic accident? Was it a fight, potentially, that just went horribly wrong? You know, my own kids arguing every day, but these are older kids, both teens. Did they get into some sort of verbal or physical brawl that just went completely sideways? Was it an intentional crime potentially committed by this stepson or potentially somebody else, or something even darker than that? We simply just don't know. Once the autopsy drops and we get those results and the tox reports, there'll be a much better understanding of whether it was a homicide, an accident, an overdose, or something staged. But until then, all we can really do is honor the memory of Anna Kepner, who really wanted to become some sort of member of the United States military. She had, again, taken her entrance exam and was well on her way to doing that. She was a varsity cheerleader from Titusville, Florida, which I believe, I should know this better, is in Central Florida. I believe near the Orlando area. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong. Either way, please go below into the comments section of this video Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these shorter videos, kind of updating you on breaking news stories. Let me know if you like them, if you hate them, if you're so on them. Please remember to hit that like button, hit subscribe. We've got a Patreon page, and we are building and growing this channel. And everybody knows us as having the best guests in true crime, but occasionally I ride solo. But the true crime, best guests in true crime, it is not a tagline. It is our reality. That's what we do here at Surviving the Survivor. Make sure you check us out. We're on Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Fridays, the matriarch, the oldest true crime podcaster in America, Carm, my mother, joins us at 1 o'clock Eastern, where we break down some big stories and we talk about some crazy stuff. And at the end of that show, you can leave Carm a comment and she will address it. She's a licensed therapist. You can ask her about just about anything. Carm has heard it all in her lifetime, and she'll be happy to butt in to your business. Love you, America, and justice for Anna here. She will get it. The FBI is on the case.